Oh, okay, there it goes. All right. Hey, hey, Facebook and YouTube. What's going on? What is going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. I am excited, y'all. We got 10 days. 10 days before we can close the door on all of this. Just, I can't wait. I've already seen it. Let me turn this down. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Let me turn that down. I just had wanted to get some music playing and get my energy up. And because I was getting really tired, like right around 4:30, I started getting really tired. And I'm like, look, it ain't time to get tired. You got things you need to do. Okay. So today's a good day. Today's the day that we have Enrique's Vision. So we meet every Thursday, every first Thursday of the month. We are growing. We started with 2 people. I think we are now like up to 8. And this is our 3rd month. So I'm excited about that. We're not looking for an army. We're just looking for those that have a heart, a dedicated, matter of fact, 8 for the planning team. So I think that I'm at capacity as far as the planning team is concerned right now for Enrique's Vision. So for those that don't know who I am Enrique Michelle, and I am the CEO and founder of Purifications International Enterprise. It is a nonprofit organization that works with women of color. We have an online course called 5S's in the C, that's me, Women's Development and Training Program. And that is specifically for young women of color 18 through 24. So our online course, 5S's in a C, that's me, Women's Development and Training course, is specifically for our BIPOC sisters who are 18 through 24. Why? Because that is a critical time. That is a time when they are transitioning into womanhood. That is a very critical time. And so we know that what society has been showing our daughters, our sisters, our friends, us as women of color is not quite, this American society is not really quite, you know, uh, doing anything healthy for us. So this is an alternative. I don't try to tell anybody how to live. It's not about, hey, come and I want to make you a clone or any of that type of stuff. No, but it's just about an alternative for those that don't want to be out there having a hot girl summer or things of that nature. These are young women that have ideas and might not know how to actually articulate the idea or how to craft the idea from concept to actual doing it, the implementation and the manifestation of what it is that they do. So those young women who are out there who are trying, but at the same token, they have some areas where they know where they can improve in attitude in finances in how they carry themselves and how they conduct themselves as women. So again, it's not about trying to change anybody per se, but it's about gathering those and giving those a safe space for those that actually have been looking for a place that they could come in this unconditional love and it's actually training and it's hands-on. So you know working on that in the marketing. We also have Enrique's Vision, which is the retreat in August 3rd through the 9th, where we're calling for a week of peace, where we're asking for brothers and sisters who are spiritual to come out together, to gather together, and to say, you know what, it doesn't start with finances because we've had enough money. It doesn't start with um, um, politics or any of these or any of these things that we've been trying. But the one thing that we haven't tried is just allowing each other to heal. And I come in and I talk about that all the time. So it's not just about coming and talking about it, but it's about doing it. Because if you know me, I always say we don't need permission. Do we need permission? I don't think that we need permission. I know I've never needed permission. I didn't wait for permission to go out there and do the things that I'm doing. I didn't wait for a whole lot of money. I didn't wait for anything. I seen the need in the community, and like many others. Hold on, y'all. I'm flashing. We gotta get this heat, the thing over here. But in like many others in the community have stepped up. Like many others in the community before me, beside me, after me, that are stepping up, And so, yeah, I'm very excited. Um, the goal for the nonprofit is to train 100 women by the end of 2025. We're actually going to have these young ladies um, coming in and going into position to actually move the organization forward. Everything's built, everything's been tested. We've tested it for a decade behind the scenes doing things. And so we know that it works. And now it's just about putting people in position and having those departments run. So if we go through our personal development first, which are the 5 S's. Each S represents a module of healing. Each S represents a um, a transition that I myself had to go through as a young woman transitioning without any guidance. And how was it that I was able to change my mindset without having the guidance and with having, so many heavy influences, in the media and TV, and how you stay away from those, you know, um, stereotypes because they've been doing it. I remember when I was growing up, and it was like, Salt and Pepper and Queen Latifah and everybody. But look at the hairstyles that they had. The hairstyles that they had were the hairstyles that we had. The earrings that they had were the earrings that we had. We've been doing it. They've been actually molding us through the music industry for decades. It's nothing new. We don't fight against nothing new. So the difference is our approach and how we're approaching this thing. That's what needs to change because we've been doing the same thing for forever. And so my contribution was, look, I'm not going to keep doing this and I'm not going to keep complaining about it. I'm not going to keep seeing the young women on the streets and shaking my head and talking about they need prayer, or, look at our youth are going crazy and just complaining about it, but decide to do something about it to the degree where I literally left corporate America and jumped on this crazy journey that I've been on now for about 15 years, since 2009. At first it was difficult, I'm not going to lie, but it's not been difficult for a very long time. I've been living life on my terms for a very, very long time, doing exactly what I set out to do, which was to help young women transition through life. And that's exactly what I've done. And so now, um, being blessed to realize that more women can use it and to get out there and to actually now really start promoting it for the first time, like really effectively putting all of my skills together, all of my training together on how to do it and what I showed the girls to do, and doing it for myself, so that we can get on, so that they can actually have this company up and running in the next 3 years. And we're not going to need funding. Now we're going after some funding and some things that I'm keeping quiet right now to start. But trust and believe, we're not going to need to keep our hand out. We're not going to need to keep our hand out, and that's what makes us different. And not only that, but we're coming in the game. We're coming in the game with a 10-year case study. We're coming in the game with, I put out something every year since 2006. We're coming in the game with, actually now, after built it all with the young women, and and built it up with the young ladies, and coming in the game with the young ladies. You know what I mean? And so tested, vetted, ready, and coming in the game, putting money in the game, putting our own skin in the game. You heard me? So when I reincorporate this time, coming with 10-year case study, coming with some of the alumni, some new girls, 25 new girls for the first quarter, and money in the game. In money in the game. We putting the first money in. I'm putting the first money in the bank. You heard? Blessed. Had to go through some things, but trust and believe I came out blessed. And now we go and fix the tempo and get some of this stuff out of us, and the trauma, and all of the stuff, so we can be back focused. Yes, yes, excited. So when I get off of here, at 7 o'clock, I'll be meeting with Arike's Vision team. We meet again every first Thursday of the month. This is our third meeting. I started, I believe, with two young women. My first meeting, my second meeting, I think I had four. Tonight I have 8. And I believe that's capacity for me for the planning team. Um, and so tonight we're going to be, last month, their homework was to be prepared to bring 3 topics that they wanted to bring on our show, because I'm preparing them a platform. So this is why you see me coming Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Why? That was preparation for now what I'm getting ready to bring. So now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's not going to be just me up here, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to start seeing me in the panel. Okay. And some of them are not in the East Coast. Some are in California. Some are in Jamaica. So with the time difference, I might have to twerk it, and we might have to do more than one show on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we're going to decide all that tonight. So last month, their requirements was to make sure that they came in with 3 topics tonight, that they felt as though they could sit at the table as the expert and lead the show, as a podcast show, and we'll all be there. And tonight, when they bring those to me tonight we'll actually work out, and I'll work with each one of them, and we will um, prepare the outline for their show. So once we have their outlines, then we'll go ahead and we'll put our calendar together, and then we'll work on our marketing, and give assignments and give roles and responsibilities tonight. Tonight they will learn certain things, that they might not know. We do contracts, so do they know how to have their electronic signature? So things like that. If they don't, then I'm going to take them in, also show them where they can actually go in and, which platform to send documents that they need signed back and forth. We're talking about They'll learn how to track their weekly participation. They'll be introduced to the Excel database tonight, where they'll see where to track and how to track, and exactly what the stipend will be if we hit all of our goals, and how that stipend is broke down. Because one thing about me is I want to make sure always that the young ladies are having a way to put money in their pocket. So throughout this whole process altogether, we actually have 7 different ways for the young ladies to come in and to make income within our organization. So again, which is why we're not going to need to keep our hand out and rely on funding um, once we get started. Once we get started. So there's nothing left to do now but to get the girls and let's go. Let's get it cracking. I'll be showing you some of that. I also found out today that one of my butterflies will be joining me in St. Kitts. So she reached out to me uh, yesterday morning, and we had a conversation. And so one of the butterflies will be actually coming out to St. Kitts with me, because this is really what I do, right? Like, um, it's not, what I do is not like most mentors. I mean, I don't know. Like, for me, I don't really see what I do. Like, I really get engaged in their lives. Like, she's been in my life for 12, 13 years now, and so you need a room, you need to get on your feet, you need some time, you need some help. That's always been me, and these are the bonds that I don't try. These are the bonds that I share with these young women that we should be making with one another as women. So if there is a time when one of us need another one of us, that is a no brainer, and that you don't have to sit out there and figure it out by yourself, and that there is an elder, and that there is a place that you can come when you need to come. And that's why the healing retreats, moving on to doing the healing retreats with the older women and the leaders and the CEOs and things of that nature, and now relinquishing passing the baton over to the younger generation for them to run it, and to grow with their generation, and to show them how to love one another again, how to be there for one another for real, you know, so that they know, and making money, and make money while you're doing it, but it's not about becoming a guru. It's really about healing first. It's about, let's change some things. Let's change the way we think about some things. Let's change the way we've been programmed to think about some things. And the first thing we want to, the one of the first things we want to change is that mentality is, I got to hustle for my dreams. I got to hustle hard for my dreams. I got to work twice as hard for my dreams. I got to dig in for my dreams. I got to dig in so that I can live my dreams. But I want us to flip that around. And I want us to start living our dreams as we pursue our purpose. Start living our dreams as we pursue. Because too many people are not living, they're existing. Too many young women are out here existing because they can't do anything else. They can't get their head above water the way things are in this society. It is so much about greed in the American society. It is about me, mine, greed, greed, greed. Look at me. Look what I got. Flossing and all. And it's a sick. We don't need that. What we require is healing. And what require is rewiring and getting back to the truth of who we are, because we are a loving, giving people that work together and know how to come together to build and create social economic stability for our community. We have just forgot who we truly are. We have forgotten who our ancestors are, and we forgot to look to them. So it is time for healing, and this is what I do, and this is what I've been doing, and this is what I look forward to continue doing with 100, just 125 the first cohort, 25 the next, 25 the next, 25 the next, giving a total of 100 young women by the end of 2025. And I'm quite sure there'll be more than that, but my goal is 100. So in 2026, now we are out there in chapters in different communities. Because here's the other thing, I'm not just in one state. Pi is international. Pi is not just in one state. We're not just sitting, we don't just hit just girls, young ladies, and women in one state. And that is the beauty of now people can understand why I was traveling. See, what didn't make sense to nobody else didn't have to make sense. I didn't care. I, Child, you better stop worrying about what other people think. You can't worry about what other people think. It will cripple you. It will stagnate you. I know, because I battled with it for years. If I be real transparent, if I be real transparent right now, one of the reasons it had taken so long for me to do what I'm doing right now is because of what other people have said and what they might have said and might have thought and this and that and da 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 da. And it took me a long time to get over that fear and realizing that the reason why that fear, the reason why that was there was due to being rejected by my family at such a young age. That's where the wound came in. And so these are the things that I teach. These are the things that I don't teach. These are the things that I talk about and discuss. Is going back and finding out what is the cause why of this behavior. Because until I correct it, I'm going to continue to deal with that. And having to go back and sit and be like, where did this fear come from? Where did this worry come from? Where did this such deep concern of other people's opinions of me come from? And I can go back and realize, yeah, there's always been rumors. Well, I'm not the only person who's had rumors about them, I'm quite sure, in life, right? So where is it? This, and boom, one day it came. And the root of it was from my family and the trauma, childhood experiences, trauma from childhood that were manifesting in things that I was doing in adulthood. But once I knew what it was, once I acknowledged it, I began to do a whole lot better, and life became a whole lot better. But ironically, it took me to get shot to realize I'm moving too slow. That it's time to stop building and testing, and it's time to get out there. So there's always good is going to come out. Good always going to outweigh the bad. Good is always going to outweigh the bad. And I know spiritually, I know physically, I know emotionally, I know. I know. I can't play small. And that's why I come. And that's why I do what I'm doing. And being faithful. Except for when I forget, and I try not to forget to come on. But being faithful, trusting, believing, putting it out there, talking even if nobody's on, talking like there's a million people out here. Right? Because one day there will be, very well could be. So, no more disobedience, no more being slow, no more worrying about what people say. All those tests that I had to come through, all those tests that I had to come through, all that learning about going backwards and unlocking the places of hurt and pain and trauma, and saying to yourself that it's okay. And going through these classes and getting to know one another and getting so deeply involved with the truth of ourselves in front of one another that it bonds us literally for life. Then we can make money, because then it's different. Then it's not just, hey, I'm doing something. Okay, yes, sis. Okay, yes. No, no, no. It's different. When you've gone through and you've walked alongside your sister and you've really got to gel and got to know her, and now you go to do business, it's different. Because now it's personal. And that's why I start with the heart. Because like I said, it's not money. Money's not our issue. Money's not the issue. A lot of people got money. Our community's still broken. So it can't be money, because people, we see when they get money and you don't deal with the heart first, you see what happens. They become evil and wicked. They become evil and wicked. And that's why we start with the heart and the introduction to true love and the essence of true love and the character of true love. And not just in romantic relationships, but every relationship. The relationship with your sisters, the relationship with your children, the relationships with your family. It starts with healing. It starts with the heart. See, once we take away the walls, once we break down all the trauma, we'll break down all the walls and realize that the trauma is the same. Regardless of the names, regardless of titles, regardless of station, regardless of your status, your financial status, or where you live, your address, where you worship. When you strip it all down and you move all of the junk, you get to the heart and the character, you realize that we have a lot of the same hurts and pains, and we want the same things, the same fundamental things, and the freedom and the freedom, the spiritual freedom to be who we are and to raise our children according to our belief system. So, has nothing to do with us not having money. We've had money. When you have money and you don't stop with the heart, they turn wicked and greedy. And I'm just talking about what we're seeing right now with the celebrities and the elite, those that have had all this money, the mega pastors and the musicians and the all these people of color who have had money that could have came and said, you know what, we don't care if you never pay us another dime. So you couldn't get somebody like me all that type of money. Because even if they told me, okay, if we give you this $1 million, Michelle or Enrique, or this 2.5 million, they give them big money. But you can't go back and help your community because if you do, we'll never help you again. You'll never work in Hollywood ever again. I would have said, bet money. I would have fulfilled my contract and I would have bounced right back to my community and start putting that money in the community and making my money through my own community. And would have not cared exactly what I'm getting ready to do with my organization. I am not going to rely on the government for my organization. But what I realized after going 10 years without getting the government stamp, I'm trying to tell you, it was highly impossible. So I had to break my mindset to say I'm not going to work with it, and I had to go get educated on the 501c3. I had to get the mindset that I had out. And it kills me when I see these people talking about, oh, you're in bed with the government and you're this and you're that. If you get a 501, I'm like, you don't have understanding. I didn't have understanding either. Go get educated about it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you want to talk about reparations? This is how I'm fixing ready to get them to pay me to have all that I need for my organization. But do I need to stay married to them? No, because the way that I built it, we make money. And that's another misconception. People think that a nonprofit doesn't make money. Do you know that the NFL is a nonprofit? Again, it's about being misinformed and uneducated. But it's about understanding if you want that big money that you don't have to pay back, you have to play by their rules. Now, granted, do I make it harder on myself by being unapologetically a Black organization and a BIPOC? Absolutely. They can't stand that. So it makes the funding harder, but it doesn't mean that it's not out there. And so now it takes time. Why do you think that it's taken me this time? People think that just because another misconception, just because you go get a 501c3, you're automatically going to get money. Baby, you're up against established organizations. Not to say that you can't, but you up against established organizations. You up against everybody, their mother, their brother, and their sister. And especially if you're talking about specifically Black dollars, the pool of money is smaller and the people trying to get it is greater. So you really have to understand what you're doing and know how to write and how to paint the picture. And to remember that these are, even though that they're giving this money to you as charity, that they are not charities, they are investors. And so even when you go to write a sponsor letter, there's a formula in doing it to grab the investor's attention. So although I've been trained in for such a time as this, and now it's time, like I said, to put all of this together. So now that that funding can come in, so I can now go and do what I need to do back into my community. So there's no excuse as to why somebody who's making 14 million have made all the money that these celebrities have made and these mega passes everybody has made, and we still have not built anything for ourselves. So again, this is why we start with the heart. This is why we start with bonding. This is why we start with healing. This is why we start with decolonization of how we look at one another, how we talk to one another as women of color, how we address one another, how we love on one another to give each other that strength, that real strength, that real energy, because they're zapping it out of our community. And it's almost gone if we don't understand. So it's time to power up. It's time to come together. It's time for the elders to come out. It's time for the youth to come out. It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to have these conversations so that my granddaughter has a fighting chance of what it means to be a real woman and not out here following this foolishness that they have. Sexy red and all this other stuff that's going on, where they're destroying our youth brains and we're just sitting back watching, because for the majority your brains are mush too, because you're watching all of the, the housewives and all the other stuff that is just, that's not us, y'all. That's not us. We should be helping one another. We should have community organizations and programs keeping families together and promoting families being together, promoting Black love and unity, standing side by side with our indigenous brothers and sisters and our native brothers and sisters, those too that have been hurt, those too that have had their culture stolen, and forced into this native tongue and these native customs, because it's hurt every last one of us. It's not about war. It's not about hating anybody. It's about having the opportunity to actually just have our own and be safe. We've built it for everybody else. I think it's time that we should build for ourselves. And I think that that should be okay. I'm not saying you have to X people out. I'm not saying all these things. I'm saying that it's time for us to heal. And it's time for us to build, to have more, to have so much more. It's time for us to live our dreams so that you can go and travel for 5 months. You know, the hell with the rat race. Do you understand? We need to flip them things around and give each other the freedom so that we can be great. So that we can be great. So that we can tap in to all that energy and be full. Because we walking around on empty, a lot of us. Wore down from the things of life. Fussing, cussing, all that negative low energy. And it's okay to have a moment. Look, we're human. It is okay to have a moment. Just because somebody has a moment does not mean that they're a weak person. It means that they're human. Know the difference between somebody who knows how to get back up again. Because over here will never be a woe is me. Ever be a woe is me. Never. We had a moment and we're allowed that. But we get up over here, baby. We don't stay down. And we put things in place. Why the heck you think I'm going to St. Kitts for 5 months? Know thyself, baby. I know me. And I got a company to run that's all about healing. The baby, I need to go do some things for myself. Because my crown got tilted. And it's okay because, see, there's no faking over here. There's no faking over here. You going to get the real. Some days it's hard. But for the majority, baby, we standing over here, 10 toes down. And we're getting ready to close this chapter. Is there a chapter that you need to close? I keep trying to tell y'all that 5 months, come with me. What is it that you need to, what is it that you need to get rid of, rip off, build up and strengthen in you so that you can get on to your living your dream as you fulfill your purpose. Take the journey with me. Because we don't pretend over here. We don't act like everything's all right, then go out there and try to lay hands on the girls and, this and that and try to act like, I'm the superwoman all the time. No, we don't fake over here. Stuff hurts sometimes. Lots of times. But do you know how to use your tools? And that's what they see when they walk with me, is they see a real woman. They see a real woman who loves her spirituality, who's a cornball as well. When you really get to know me, I love to dance, I love to joke, but when it comes down to sitting down and we're doing some healing and we're doing, like when it comes down to the class and things of those things where we're sharing, she's very serious. When it comes to how she runs the organization, she's very serious. As far as order and how things have to be so that we can actually get it going, right? But trust, we're smiling and having fun, okay? Serious, but we're smiling, we're having fun, we're laughing. We are freeing ourselves as we are learning to re-embrace true love in the essence of true love and what that means in sisterhood and how that means to rebuild trust and what the fact of the matter, we've been doing this over here for decades. Me and my little crew, girls have been with me for 20 something years, some of them. In the last set, Raj and Zanita have been with me for 12. And then we stopped and stopped building. And now we're ready to open the doors and invite some more sisters in because it's real. Nobody's over here trying to, we grow together. We grow together. And with that being said, I've stayed on the latest. I've stayed on in a couple of weeks. Almost made it to an hour. But I'm going to get off just to prepare myself for my 7 o'clock meeting with the butterflies as we prepare to have our Enrique's Vision meeting. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. And I knocked my... Here I am. Sorry, Facebook and YouTube. And I knocked my screen off. Anyways, yeah, really soon. I think in January. When I start in January, you'll start seeing not just me, you'll start seeing the panel. We're going to start talking about some things. We'll find out tonight what their shows are going to be. And I will start marketing for those shows. And we invite y'all to come on, to be a part, to speak to us, to talk to us, to tell us how you're feeling, what you're going through, if it resonates with you. February 27th is when the online enrollment starts for 5 S's in a C. That's me. There's only 25 seats. That is it. And right now it is going for $409. Originally it was between $25,000 and $3,000. And I remembered, when I was out there hustling and trying to make it with 3 kids, and I was doing medical billing and coding. Medical billing really for $14 an hour living in Sacramento, California. And me and a few of my friends were out there at lunch in our scrubs. And a man rolls up on us in a BMW in a suit. And he's a brother, and he's really tall, looking good, smelling good, in a drop top BMW. Like, hey, ladies, what y'all doing? Y'all want to make some real money? And we're like who? Because we all street, but we trying to cross over. We still young. We trying to cross over the 20s, late 20s. But we like looking at him sideways, like, what you talking about? And he reintroduced himself to us and let us know that he was a teacher, that he had a coding school, and that if we would invest in him and trust in him, that he would double our money if we would go through his class. And we were like, okay, sure. And he's like, it's $1,500. And I remember it took me about 2.5 years to pay him, because he let us do a payment plan, because I was making like $15, $16 an hour living in California with no government assistance and raising 3 kids. And so it was in no support, no help financially. Everybody else had family, they had ways to get in there and get that money paid. And it literally took me about, I feel like, 2 years. And Mr. Hales was his name. And at the end of the semester, the first semester, I remember leaving, he said, see you next week, Miss Hun, because that was my name at the time. I looked and said, no, school's over. He said, no. You have not paid me your final payment. I will see you next, in 2 weeks when the next class starts. And I was like, are you serious? He was like, I'm dead serious. Why? Because if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And after every semester, watching people come in and people graduate and take their test, he would say, see you in 2.5 weeks. And until I paid him that last final payment. And so I remember that, and I remember how difficult it was. And so I said, you know what, 1,500, but it was obtainable. So it was obtainable. I had to work for it, but it was obtainable. So 1,500 is what I determined is going to be the cost for my program, even though it was um, what do you call that word I'm looking for? When evaluated, that's not the word I'm looking for, but pretty much when it's been evaluated, the worth, the lowest was 2,500, the highest was 35. Okay, and I said absolutely not, absolutely not. So, anyways, but right now, and I'm thinking possibly maybe for the whole year for all four cohorts, I will leave it at $409 if I can get partnership. Not excuse me, not if I, when I get partnership. When I get partnership from a few organizations, then I can leave it at that, and then they can pay the balance. So anyway, whoozy woo, I got to get off. It's time to go to Arike's vision planning meeting so that I can go to bed after. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining in. You know what I always say, we do not need permission to build social economic structures. We don't. We don't need permission to heal. Nobody's coming to rescue us. All we need is one another in respect and to lead with love, with real love, genuine love for your brother and sister. And when we do that, things will change. The world will change. It's waiting on us. All right. If nobody told you that they love you, let me let you know. I absolutely love you from my heart to yours. Have a beautiful evening, and I will see you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. See you later.